All right, I'm going to cover the blog section of the Darkside training videos. So if you've set up a blog in the past, or if you tried to and couldn't get too far, the way you set up a blog for the new themes, you don't have to do any of that stuff that you had to do in the past. There was just so many steps, very difficult for a non-advanced user to really set up a blog with the right design and everything matching. You don't have to do that with the Darkside blog. So this is the blog here. I have 3 posts in here. What's really cool about this is actually on certain sections of the site that we have these blog posts in, it's pulling in. And this is just a content block, and I'll show you exactly how to set this up. But as you go in, it has everything you would have in a traditional blog post. But you have the flexibility of designing and adding different data forms, adding more content blocks, whatever you want around this. And the freedom and flexibility that the advanced users have had with our blog system, you can set up the same thing pretty easily. So the first thing to do is, once you have, I guess it doesn't matter if your header and footer is not completed yet. Typically you wouldn't add a blog and start posting on a blog until you are live or ready to go live. So most of your stuff's already set up and working. The good news is the blog uses the header and footer from your website, so everything is in sync. So even if you have to make a change later on or anything, it'll update across all your assets. So to set up a blog, you're going to go to CMS and blogs. I've already set one up, a test blog, and of course I have the Darkside blog that's already set up here. So create a new blog, you name it. This is an internal reference of what you want the blog to be named. You have to assign it to a website funnel. Only ones that have a domain show up, so you need to select one that has a domain. And then you put in your folder path. What's cool is you can actually pull in, let's say you had 5 different blogs with 5 different categories hooked up to the Darkside theme. You can use those content blocks throughout your site to bring in the feeds from those particular sites or those particular blogs. And I'll show you how to do that. But once you name your folder path, it could be a category name, it could be blog, whatever, hit add. And so there's a couple ways to get into the builder. One, you can get into the post directly through here. But the first time you come into the builder, this is what it looks like. So you do have to set your blog design up, or it'll just be blank. In the past, you would have to get these tags that we have in our knowledge base center, and these are the tags you would add to your page template that you would take from your website. So once you built your website, you would just take the code from the site and throw it in here for the blog and add in these tags where you want the blogs to actually show up, and that's it. But that step, has proven to be difficult for many. So we automatically do it for you, but this is not complete. You don't have a header, you don't have a footer, and maybe you want to add more stuff to this or swap out your data form within here, which, by the way, you can swap out your data form by just selecting this little div right here. Then you have all your data forms to choose from. So if you wanted to create one just for the blog, you would create one. One thing I mentioned in the video before, we don't use labels in this theme, so these are all placeholders, placeholder text. So when you create your data form, you have an option in the field to set the placeholder. Make sure you set the placeholder, or you'll have missing, like for instance, this one. 2 of my fields don't have placeholders, so it shows up blank. So you got to go into that placeholder, or that form, that data form, that field, and add the placeholder text so it shows up good. But you can put whatever you want. Subscribe to my blog, whatever you want here, and swap out. And in addition to that, you can create as many stuff that you want is in addition, above or below this, or you can add additional stuff below or above. Before you do any of that though, you got to set up your header and footer. So the first thing you need to do is you have an option over here of these section blocks. If you watch the first training video, these are very important to know where you're at, and your code comes out great and it looks structurally sound. That's all great, but for the blog, it's very important that you do this. You have to select this section because of the fact that this is tied to your global block, which is your header, your global block head section. It's very important that you click this and start with this. This is how you can start the activation of your blog done the right way. So you click here, then you're going to come up here to this little plus button, click that, and you're going to scroll all the way down to your global header. This is that block that automatically is created for you with the theme. And this means any change you made to your navigation will be picked up here on the blog. Any change you make to the navigation on the blog will update across everywhere that it's at. So go ahead and select this. Once you select it, save it. Save the first content block. So now you have your header and your footer, and you'll see this stuff kind of transform. There's no post in here yet, and you can't edit this section or this section. It's just a little preview. Now you need to add your footer. So in this case, I want to add it directly after my main content. So I'm going to hit main content, just like I showed you in the first video. I'm going to hit this little plus button. I'm going to hit my global footer. Now I have my global footer. So if I come in here and save this, my blog is good to go. Now all I have to do is add posts. So my blog is live out there on, if you go out to your URL, you're seeing your blog. Now mine doesn't look like this right now because I don't have any posts in it yet. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to click on settings. I'm going to start creating a post. I'm going to grab some of these posts that I did on that first blog, save some time, hit create post, create a new category. I'm going to go into that post and I am going to grab the content real quick. And of course you could just obviously be typing out your blog. So this works like any other blog. What's important though, a lot of times just because this date is here, this hasn't been scheduled because I haven't saved a date yet, right? So I'm going to click here. Let's just put it on the 12th. Right there is important to know that I've saved something on this system. If you don't get that, then assume it's not saved. And then all your other standard stuff you can put in here however you like. Let me throw an image in here. I'll put this image. Okay, so now I have my blog posts. I have my blog designed. If I were to go back out to my blog in the builder, you'll see that post there, but of course it's all grayed out. You can't edit, can't change it. It already comes with the design, so you don't have to worry about it. And of course you can apply CSS as an advanced user and manipulate whatever you want, but it has a nice design, a nice look already. It looks like this, right? Of course, when you go into the post, it looks like this automatically. So what you're going to want to do next is I need to create those content, add this to that content block. When you first come in and set up your Darkside theme, these content blocks, whether you embed them through the block builder or you're using a home page that already has one, they don't look like this. They have static images and static text. It's not the actual post from any blog. It's just static. To activate them, so go back to your builder inside your website. And much like the data form div that you select, you have this little section here, right? So this wrapper around, just select it, and you'll see this option up here called choose blog. So I already have the Darkside blog here, but this is that new blog that I just set up. So if I select test blog, it's going to pull in. Actually, let me go back and make sure I got everything. Where's my blog? Let me go back into my, oops, I'm in the wrong blog. Post 312, 313, let's put that, I think I already saved that. Let me just make sure I have all my settings correct. So there's my test blog. Okay, cool. So let me restart here. Okay, so same thing, come back in here. Just want to make sure everything is set. Select blog, select post. So then it's going to bring your feed in. So everything that you've done, any blog that you post that you do, it's going to pull the latest 3 here that are scheduled. So in that case, I have everything set. I've scheduled my post. I have my image in. Everything is good to go. If you don't have your post scheduled, it won't show up. So it needs to have a scheduled post. So if you schedule if you don't have it scheduled, it won't show up on your blog. So that's, I guess there's other systems that it's either published or not published. If it's not scheduled, it's not published. So it doesn't show up on your blog. Now you can get to it through the link, but you can't see it on your blog. You won't see it on the actual blog itself through here. So this is the blog I just created, right? So it's really, really simple. When you come in for the first time, very first step, you're gonna click this blog header setup. It's even labeled right here for you. Click it, hit the little plus button. You're gonna come down here and you're gonna grab your global header. Once you select that, just like in this video, it shows up, save it, then come back and click the main content section, hit the plus, and you're gonna add your global footer and then save it. And you're good to go. That's all you have to do. Now you can manipulate anything here you want. I can come in here and add, if I wanted to add in on the blog title, if I want to add something after, which by the way, I could have done it just like I was doing it, but I like to be on the section side like I did in the previous video. So I click blog section, click here, say I want to add, I don't know, who knows what kind of content block you want to add up there, but you may have something that you want to put in above your blog. So if I save that, I go out to my blog. Now my blog, I'm controlling whatever I want above here. Maybe I have an intro to my blog. I don't know. Anything that you want to include within your blog itself, you can do above and below. You can build an additional into these columns. You can have a little section here, maybe a CTA that you want here. There's a lot of different things that you can design onto this blog. But this section here and this section, this block right here, you can change that and you can add whatever you want below and above, but the categories is being generated on its own. You can't edit that, and this blog itself is what this looks like, and then inside the page itself for the blog is all controlled dynamically, not controlled by the builder itself. So pretty simple to get set up, a lot easier than before. If you have any questions, let us know.